Welcome to The Gag Is podcast with me, your host, Charlie Shantae, where I share the roller coaster of my life, the highs, the lows, and everything in between. After becoming a teen mom at 14 and a widow by the age of 21, it's a journey filled with tears and laughter, reminding you that even in the toughest moments, there's hope. The gag is, life may be unpredictable, but it's always worth living.
Hey guys, welcome back to The Gag Is podcast. I am your girl, Charlie Shantae. Thank you for joining me on another episode. Happy Friday to you, or happy whatever day it is that you're listening to this. But new episodes release every Friday. So, if you go ahead and hit that little notification bell wherever you listen to your podcast, you'll be sure to get the new episode when it drops every Friday. Okay. And that's no matter what platform that you listen on. So we're going to go right ahead and dive into today's topic. I got a good one for you. This is for my parents. It's time to talk parent to parent, like real to real. So go over here and grab your bloop, 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 bloop. And I'm not taking that blooper out. Go ahead and grab your drinks, grab your snacks, whatever it is you grab when you listen to this. If you in the car, make sure you got the volume good so you can hear. Tell them kids be quiet in the back so that you can hear this episode and we can talk real. So today I want to talk about the pressures that we put on kids. And this is like an age old conversation and we talk about it a lot. We hear people talk about it a lot, and it's the pressure for our kids to be perfect. In the Spencer household, I don't pressure these kids to be perfect, but what you are going to do is do your best. Okay. That's all I can ask for. And some people are like, well, why wouldn't you want your kids to be perfect? Like, why are you just saying do your best? No, I just need them to do their best. Not stress out to the point where they depressed, they need medicine, and they have a whole lot of other things going on. They get anxiety and different stuff like that. I don't believe in all that. I believe in doing your best and living life and just being a kid and taking that moment to enjoy being a kid. So we're going to start with school and then we're going to transition over into sports. And, I'm going to give y'all my little 1-2 on how we do things here in the Spencer household. So when it comes to school, we pressure our kids to overachieve. And I do know that sometimes it's cultural related. I know Middle Eastern, European, Asian, Korean, and in that culture, they take their education very seriously. Y'all know here in America, we don't. Let's just tell it how it is. Asian culture, they pressure their children to, get the best education that they can. But then again, their education system is good as hell. If I had the opportunity to move to Japan, I would. But then again, I don't have no little kids that I can say, oh, let me go. Anyway, we getting off on something else. Because they expect their kids to be doctors or something of high stature. And here in America, we push our kids to, we have too much going on. I know one of the things, and a lot of this, I'm speaking from a teacher perspective and from a parent perspective, because I've been in the classroom, so I know what it's like. And the things that I did in the classroom, I made sure I translated it over into home and vice versa. So, we should not force children to take an excessive amount of classes. I know in high school and middle school here, your kids can take classes online to get extra credits and stuff like that to kind of help them graduate and move on a little faster. And this is just me. All of these opinions are mine. I just don't believe in doing that. I feel like there are tracks that are set for kids in education, and we should follow those tracks for our kids. So one of the things that I did when I had Marco Polo, he just followed a traditional track because, I was a young mother and I didn't know about all of the things that were out there. And, like the different programs and the graduating early and, associates, graduating with dual, high school diploma and an associate's degree. I wasn't aware of all of that. And it wasn't until I started teaching that I was like, oh, we have all these things. But, he was already in high school. And we talked about it a few weeks ago. And he was like, I'm glad you didn't put me in that. And he was like, I loved my experience. And I was like, wow, really? He's like, yeah. He said, I wouldn't have liked if you would have done that to me. He said, I'd have been very upset. And I was like, wow, like that's very different. And that's very unique. So with New Face, I started him off in 6th grade. He started off in what's called Cambridge. And, so he had like those upper level advanced classes. And I remember asking his 2 5th grade teachers, I was like, do y'all think he's capable of doing that? And their teachers was like, yeah, he's capable of doing that and then some. So I was like, okay. I was like, because I don't want to seem like I'm putting too much on him. They're like, no, they're like, and when other kids get done, he helps grade papers with us. And I'm like, oh, okay. So he did that in middle school. And then I'm just like, oh my God. I'm like, as each year went by, I'm like, this just seems like so much work. And I didn't want to put all this work on my kid and stuff. And then come to find out most of the work was just like busy work and, just stuff like that. So I was very disappointed. And now that he's in high school and he's in his second semester of high school, like the classes, like he said this format works best for him because all of it, he has high school classes and he has college classes. And he said with all of my classes, my work is due on Sunday. And he said, I don't have to rush home every day and just complete all of this work in one sitting. I can spread it out over days and then have it submitted on Sundays. And I was like, okay. He said, I like this better because the deadlines are known. He's like, when I was in middle school, they would just give us work and they'd be like, okay, you know what, it's due today. And it's kind of like, I wasn't prepared for that. It makes me anxious because I didn't finish and, I didn't get to understand it. But he's like, now in high school, he said, we have hard deadlines. He's in a collegiate academy. So, he's on like a college route. He's like, we have hard deadlines. I can get help easy. The teachers are more willing to help. And I'm like, that is super crazy. And he does so much better. I can see the shift from middle school to high school. Like his whole attitude, his whole demeanor, like he's not upset. He's not angry. Like he's doing really, really well. And the classes are going to come. Like right now he doesn't have a full schedule. He has study hall because he's caught up on all of the track that he was supposed to be on. So instead of saying, well, you need to go find another class to get into because you got to take classes, I let him enjoy study hall because that's like a little break. And he said, it's the last class. It's second to last class before the end of the day. He said, I take it. I get my homework done. That way, when I come home, I can relax before I go to swim because y'all know he's a competitive swimmer. He's like, it allows me that little time, that little break to get that done at school. And if I need help, the teacher is right there. And then if I don't finish it all, then I can bring it home, but I'm not starting from no place and then trying to finish it. I can get it done in study hall. It kind of frees up my weekends. And he's like, I just like the format. And I'm glad that he has communicated that with me to let me know that he loves the format of how his schoolwork is going, So he's a brainiac and he's an athlete at the same time. And he has found his balance, not the balance that I set forth for him, but he has found his balance. And that rolls into my next topic. Since he doesn't have a lot of homework, it allows for him to have a social life outside of school, whether it be when he go to swim or whether it be just outside in general. If his friends call and say, hey, I want to do something this weekend, can you ask your mom? I don't have to be like, well, you got homework that you need to finish and, you don't know when the teacher's going to turn it in. So you need to go ahead and finish that. I can say like, yeah, like, where are we going? and stuff like that. I've heard of a story. I know the people, but I don't really know the people, that their daughter has had to fall back from swim because she has so much homework that like she's overwhelmed. And I think this little girl is probably like middle school, like 6th grade. And she just has so much work that she can't even come to swim during the week anymore. She can only come on the weekends because she has so much work. And the parents, like the mom wants the daughter to be at the school, but the dad doesn't because he feels like it's stressing his daughter out. And he's like, we can't agree on the same school that she should, what this type of school that she should go to. And I think that is very, very sad that, and I know it happens every day, but it's very sad that, the baby is struggling because the mom has high expectations and ambitions. Like you want your daughter to be a brainiac and a swimmer, but it's actually costing her mental health to the point where the little child is like, I miss seeing my friends, and I want to go be with my friends and swim, and you know she can't keep the dad was like, she can't keep up anymore with the swim group because she can only swim on the weekends, and these kids swim 4 or 5 days a week for 2 hours at a time. So like they've been by the time she comes out on the Saturday, these kids have already swam for 10 hours during the week, and she just did 2 hours. And it's just very sad. I see parents, they're just like, no, we don't go on vacations because anytime my child has a free time, they're going to some kind of camp, they're going to some kind of enrichment for sports or something like that. And it's like, why are we like taking these kids' social life away from them, at such a young age? Because when they become adults, they're not going to have a social life. They're going to be socially awkward because they didn't learn those skills when they were kids and teenagers, because you had them so wrapped up in so much stuff. And so now as an adult, when someone says they don't want to hang out with them and they don't want to be their friend, they get into a tailspin because they don't understand why somebody doesn't want to be their friend, or somebody doesn't want to hang out with them, or why people act the way they act, because we've taken that lack of social skills. And that's one thing that I like. Larissa likes to play outside. We go outside all the time. He go outside. He play his bow and arrow. We go on bike rides. We play basketball. We throw the football. We do all kind of stuff. And like, I don't make him go outside. I'm like, hey, he'd be like, hey mom, I want to go outside. And I'll be like, come on, let's go. And you don't hear kids talking about how they want to go outside often. So he likes to go outside. And I'll be like, all right, you know the deal. Either I'm gonna text you to come home, or, 6:30 or a street light. It's gonna be one of the two, just depending. I don't believe in perfect attendance. And I know y'all like, oh my God, like you don't make your kid go to school every day. I do make my kid go to school every day, but I also understand when my kid need a break too. For example, during COVID, I took him out of school for both of them. No, Marco Polo had graduated. I took him out of school for a week and we did a 10-state cross country like kind of thing. We went to Great Wolf Lodge and we just got in the car, put clothes. I put his scooter in the car. We put some stuff in the car and we went road tripping because it's COVID. You got to wear masks. And I could tell, I literally woke up and I said, hey, you're not going to school this week. We finna go on a road trip. And that's exactly what we did. And we had the time of our lives. We went to Memphis to see the hotel. We went to see all kind of social stuff. Like, like instead of reading it in a book, I took him to see it with his eyes. So instead of reading it with his eyes, he's seen it with his eyes. And he appreciated that. And he's going to forever remember that my mom told me to close the book and look outside. And he did just exactly that. But I don't believe in perfect attendance days, because what are they getting out of perfect attendance? I've never seen anybody get hired and say, put on their resume, I got perfect attendance. Okay. And so you're telling me that you're okay every day. You're telling me that you're never sick. What expectation are you setting by making your kids go to school every day? They need a break sometime. times. I'm not saying all the time, let them be out for a week at a time. No, that's not what I'm saying. What I'm saying is it's okay if they miss a day or if they don't get perfect attendance. Every year in our school district, they always show the kids who have had perfect attendance from kindergarten all the way to high school. And it'd be less than 10 kids. Less than 10 kids. And I'm like, you telling me your kid was never sick? You telling me your kid was never exhausted? That's what you're telling me? And so, and the only thing that I ever see them, I don't see them getting paid full rides. I don't see them getting anything. I think last year they got like a $2,500 tuition assistance and like a laptop. Is that what I'm pressuring my kid to get by getting perfect attendance? Is a one-time payment for books and tuition that is probably not even going to cover in a laptop? Like that's what I'm pushing my kid for? Absolutely not. Not finna do it. Not finna do it at all. I do allow New Face like random stay at home days. Like depending on it, like his birthday. So this year he may get to stay home for his birthday because they were supposed to have school out, but they got to make up them hurricane days. So he don't get that day off. Well, he's supposed to go to school, but we'll see how it go. He might get that day off. He might get another day off. We going on a cruise the week later, and so he might just get that day off. We might just do that. And then when, think about it. When we were kids, there were many days that we didn't want to go to school, right? And our parents didn't play that. And, there's the belief that, you don't miss a day or whatever like that. Now, looking back on it, hindsight, do you feel like you should have had some days off? Because I definitely feel like that I should have had some days off. Did I get perfect attendance? I don't think so because I had bad asthma. So I didn't get days off, I mean, I did get days off, but it's because I was sick. There goes y'all honorary yawn. But looking back at it, I wish that, my mom would have been like, you know what? You could take a day off. But then again, that rolls into all of the things that we have going on in schools now. We didn't have back then. Like we have these stupid lockdown drills and y'all gonna be like, well, they're not stupid. Well, here's my opinion and my opinion only. I feel like when it comes to lockdown drills, the shooter is typically somebody that's gone to that school and know what y'all finna do during the lockdown drill. So y'all just kind of giving them the blueprint, but that's neither here nor there. There's so many lockdown drills. There's so many actual lockdowns because people think it's cool to call schools and say that there's a bomb or there's going to be a shooting, or they think it's cool to say it on social media. And it happens every year, like a school shooting happened, and then people try to be copycat. But like these charges are serious. They're starting to charge kids now. And I almost feel like they need to start charging the parents too, because your child is messing up other people's children's mental health. And for what? To be cool. So now you got a making terroristic threats charge on you and you only a minor. Now you got to do all this diversion. Your parents got to do stuff because you messing up your parents too, because now I got to take off my job because you got to go to court because you wanted to be a dumbass and say that you was going to shoot up school or do something stupid like that. Y'all kids are messing with other kids' mental health. So that's why I give New Face days, because and then I can see it in his face that he be needing some time. I can see it in his face. So I would say, use discretion. And if it looks like your kid is going through the ringer, or they're just wore out, or they're just exhausted, or something like that, sit with them, have a conversation with them, and make sure everything is okay. Like, make sure that they're doing okay. Like, they don't need a break. Kids need breaks too. Okay. Sometimes school be doing the most, and kids need breaks. That's all I'm saying. But evaluate your circumstance. What works for you, because what works for me probably not going to work for you. Or do your own variation, do your own piece of however it is you want to however it is you want to do it, but just make sure when it comes to school and achieving and stuff like that, like, you're not putting too much on the kids, because kids can feel that, and kids don't need all that. You know, it's just too much pressure, and you don't want your kids balding, and there's just so much that comes with that.
Thank you for tuning into the Gag Is podcast. I hope you're enjoying my journey as much as I am enjoying sharing it with you. Before we wrap up, I have a small request. If you found inspiration in my stories or my guest stories, don't forget to share this podcast with your friends and family. Together, we can spread the message of resilience and hope. And if you have a moment, please take a second to rate and review the show on your podcast app. 5 stars, please. Your feedback helps me reach even more listeners who might need a dose of encouragement. Remember, the gag is, life may be unpredictable, but it's always worth living. So until next week, bye guys.